Another senseless tragedy, mass shooting in Brown University in Rhode Island today. Our hearts go out to those that were injured, to the families of those that were killed. As of now, the situation is still fluid, but we know 2 have died and 8 or 9 are injured. This is a tragedy that should not be happening. Here we are just days away from the holiday season. And look how many lives have been shattered. Look how much pain and suffering, the losses. This is wrong. This should not be happening. This is very up close and personal to me. Well, my father was born in Rhode Island. We have roots in Rhode Island. And listening today to the mayor of Rhode Island, and he said these words, this should not be happening here. But yet here we are. For me personally, it really brings to light the shooting that I survived. I survived the mass shooting on April 27, 2019, when a young terrorist, a white supremacist anti-Semite, breached our synagogue when I was standing in the lobby of the synagogue that my wife and I built at rgpoway. I was talking with Lori Lynn Gilbert Kay when a 19-year-old terrorist shooter breached the lobby with an AR-15 high-powered and killed and shot Lori Kay right in front of my eyes as she fell to the floor and died. He then lifted the AR-15 to shoot at me, to kill me, just as he killed Lori Kay. Children were playing behind me. I heard their voices and instinctively I turned to run to grab them to safety. As I turned to run, the shooter opened up fire with 4 powerful bullets. 2 of the bullets striking my index fingers. But the rest of me survived. I got the children to safety and I came back into the line of fire only to discover that some brave members of the congregation chased him out. A couple of miles later, he pulled over in his car and he surrendered, and he called the police to surrender and said that I just shot up a synagogue and I killed the Jews. That was a blatant terrorist attack with anti-Semitism intent at a house of worship, at a synagogue, the last day of Passover. Surviving a mass shooting is a blessing to survive, but the pain and suffering that ensues is always with you. Besides my physical injuries, my emotional injuries, the challenges that you deal with, PTSD, is excruciating. But my message to the survivors of today's shooting in Rhode Island, I came to a conclusion right after the shooting that I survived. There's nothing I can do to change what happened, but I can change how to react. The wounds are too fresh for you. The dead bodies haven't even been identified or buried yet, so this is all very fresh. The shock, the numbness that you are going to find yourself in. You are going to have choices to be made. And not too many people can talk to you from experience as I am talking to you now. I survived a mass shooting, so I could talk to you and say, I know exactly what you're going through. I know exactly the various levels, how you're going to be dealing with this shooting. But I want to give you some personal guidance that helped me in my recovery to be resolute from this moment on, to not allow the tragic event to paralyze you, and to also not allow anger or despair. You may be sad, you should be sad, you should grieve and feel terrible what you went through. But you also need to understand that there's absolutely nothing that anyone could have done to stop this. So we cannot change what happened, but we're going to change how we're going to react. Just like I looked up to God in heaven and say, why? Why God? Why should Lori K be murdered, slaughtered in cold blood daylight right in front of me? Why should a 19-year-old white supremacist anti-Semite get access to a high-powered AR-15 rifle and come and he came trying to kill all of us? And I ask why, and it's okay to ask God why. You too can ask God why. But the fact that you're asking God why means that you are blessed to recognize that there's a God in this world. Times like this, our worst parts of us is going to try to turn us away from God. But I'm telling you from experience, God is grieving with you. God is sobbing with you. And this I know from the Bible. From the very beginning, when Moses was approached by God to take the Jews out of 200 years of slavery, and Moses asked God, "Who are you?" And God answered, "I'm not a God who just sits in heaven disconnected. I'm a God who's very connected. I am who I am. I am who I am. I am in heaven and I am on earth. When you suffer, I suffer with you." So you need to know that God is cradling you now. God is with you now. God will help you through this, and you will come through this. Those of you who are injured, may God bless you that you heal from your wounds. Those families who lost loved ones, may God heal your hearts. This is a sad day for Rhode Island, a sad day for America, and a sad day for humanity. And for me, it's a sad day to see other beautiful human beings, innocent people suffering for absolutely no reason whatsoever. The shooter has not yet been identified or caught, or the motives. But frankly, it's irrelevant. The pain and suffering and losses that he or she has already done is done. What we need to focus on, how can we prevent this from happening again? And this is an issue that I have dealt with. I have been on this journey from the day that I survived the mass shooting that I was a victim to, the day that Lori K's life was cut short by this murderous act. Every day I think about, what can we do to prevent this? So I go back to when I was just developing, growing up as a teenager, as a young man, when Ronald Reagan was shot in an assassination attempt. My rabbi came out with a campaign. And the Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson, the head of Chabad since 1950 in the United States of America, out of New York. He was a world leader with tremendous amount of inspiration and guidance to guide us through these difficult days. He brought the Jewish people from the dark days of Holocaust to the 21st century with hope, faith, and the ability to rebuild ourselves after the most tragic days of the Holocaust. What he responded during those days was that a moment of silence in every single public school should be mandatory. We have people growing up in a godless world, in a godless home, in godless schools. They have no inkling or understanding that there is a God in this world. And that was what the rabbi's recommendation was, that we need to go back to the basics. We got to remember the United States of America was founded in God we trust. God was part of the conversation. We need to be able to bring that conversation back to the young. To the young, they need to, at a very young age, need to be taught that there is a God who's there for them, they're never alone, a God who requires accountability, a God that sees everything you do, hears everything you say, knows what you're thinking. You have accountability. A God that teaches us how every human being is valued. We're all created in God's image. Every person who's created, the day they were born, God said the world can no longer exist without you. To realize that every person is an integral part of humanity. When a child at a very young age is taught that, then perhaps they'll grow up being a little more responsible and accountable and realizing the morals and values and ethics that God has set forth in this world. A moment of silence every day helps a child pause and think about themselves, who they are, why are we here, what's my mission on this world, who am I accountable for. It's something which America has been missing. We need to bring back into our public school system a moment of silence. We need to bring God back into our homes and into our vernacular, into our conversation. When children ask you, how are you? Your answer should be, thank God, I'm great. How are you, my dear? Let them learn to reply back, thank God, I'm doing great. What's your plan today? Please God, I'm going to go to work today. And please God, I'm going to come home and bring you back a treat. God needs to become part of our conversation. We need to bring God back into this world. When we're living in a godless world, then there's no Ten Commandments, and there's no thou shalt not murder, and there's no accountability. In addition to that, there is so much anger and grief and misdirected rage that's happening on social media by allowing influencers to instigate and incite people who are living in this world aimless, godless, and has no value for life. We need to know that there are consequences for our words. What we say on social media, what we post, we need to think before we do that. Are we promoting love, unity, togetherness? Or are we creating divisiveness and hate? And this is the end result, are these shootings, perhaps. We need to reevaluate the power of the word and realize we need to take responsibility for what we say and its consequences, the good, the bad, and the ugly. For you to get up in the morning and walk outside and you see someone, a total stranger, and you say a charming, good morning, ma'am, good morning, sir, just with a smile, you could be preventing the next mass shooter. By being kind to another person, by giving a person a compliment, creating positivity in this world, you could be preventing the next mass shooter. You never know what's going on in another person's mind. And all they're waiting for is recognition. All they're waiting for is someone to notice them, to be positive, to create something positive in their life so they could begin valuing life. And this is perhaps the remedy that we need to get ourselves into, is becoming more positive in not only in ourselves but in our environment. Instead of gossiping, instead of tearing people down, build them up, compliment them, be the one to give a nice smile, a twinkle in your eye, a warm hug. And even to just strangers, you never know what you are accomplishing with that. God put us on this world to be ambassadors for good, to do good, to be good, and to promote good, to promote light. This is the name of our channel. Our channel is called A Little Bit of Light. It was right after the shooting that I survived, the darkness that I saw. I realized a little bit of light pushes away a lot of darkness. How much more so a lot of light? So appealing to you to please, in solidarity with our fellow Americans in Rhode Island, Brown University, the families who have lost their loved ones and those who are injured, let's hold our hands in prayer and in action. Tomorrow, find something good to say to a total stranger. Let's begin this process of healing and bringing light to this world. And if you are in a position of influence at your school, introduce a moment of silence. You may be preventing the next mass shooter. Until then, let us all pray together that this doesn't happen again, and we can welcome in greater and better times. Kindly subscribe to our channel and kindly set your notifications so you can be alerted every time we have a new little bit of light for you. God bless you. God loves you.